All right. So today we're going to be covering context and the day methodologies of the Globex, the gaps, time of day, things of this nature. Um, uh, just to give us some insight as to where we are in the big picture, and hopefully some good revelation on how determining context can keep us on the right side of the trade. So after I give my couple quick thoughts about these four items, I'm gonna just do an open mic thing, and just hopefully everybody can kind of share some of their experience as well. Okay. Or if there's something about context that you guys would like to do, or like to say. Hopefully most of you got this email about the methodologies that we're doing. So over the next 4 weeks, we're going to be discussing these type of methodologies here. Context today, then pullbacks, counter trend, zone creation, trend line breaks. So that's all coming down the line. But as we look at these things here, I'm just going to keep this little post-it right over here, okay? Because just to talk a little bit about Globex levels, I really like to look at Globex high and low levels. I think they're really cool. A lot of times you'll see good support and resistance being found there, and usually there will be a zone there as well. Okay, I'm not going to turn on the zones just because I want to talk more than just about zones and how that stuff works. Talk about zones all day long, every day. So, but just something that I've observed is how this Globex high and low can really give us good support resistance throughout the day. Sometimes price meanders all over it too, and just really makes it quite ugly, as you can kind of see there. Yesterday's close also tends, like closing the gap and things of that nature. Like when you see a gap on your chart, like here was yesterday's gap, it gapped up, and it looks like it reversed up here in the supply levels, and then it came down, and filled the gap, and kind of almost opened at the gap today. And obviously we've gone way low down here. Like it's been quite the day. Or quite the morning session, I should say. So I really do like to take these things in context with price action, just to give me, like I said, context. Like I think it's just really helpful for us to figure out, like, because once you get the Globex high or low is exceeded, and it really stays below the level, like with this big candle here, like it really makes me think that something to the downside could happen for the rest of the day, or at least to really retry a retest of possibly a Globex low level and take it back down again. So that didn't exactly happen here, to be honest with you. It went a little bit higher, pretty much to where that yesterday's close was, and then you got the retest, and obviously the retest of the low failed as well. So, but it does help me it just gives me a little bit of context, because like today, when we broke the level, we came down to the level and stuttered around it, and then boom, 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 like really gave some good follow through there. But you can kind of see, like, I feel like this was a Globex low retest of that level there. All right. So something else that I've also noticed is you probably see Apotime on my chart quite a bit, and really what Apotime does, it kind of does a couple things for me. But at the open, it kind of gives me an idea here. Let's just put this on the ES real quick, and you can kind of see what I'm talking about here. All right. So here's the open of the ES market, and I don't know, just one of those, another again kind of support resistance things. Here's the top of that first 5 minutes. Here's technically the low, you know. Um, and so when that low is pushed through, you kind of have a little bit of a bias, if you will, you know. So it was broken with a close, but then if we look at like the first 5 minutes, and even at the first 15 minutes of the day, where it actually turned, then like we didn't actually get a close above the high of the first 5 minutes of the day. Like just stuff like that. Like I don't know why this is the way that it is, but it seems like a lot of times when you do get a close below like the first 5 minutes, something happens there, you know. So again, you know, just trying to give us some context. If we're up in supply at this time, actually I don't know here on ES just because I don't have any other bigger time frames open here. I think this is a new high. If I could be mistaken, but I think this is a new high on ES. And then it obviously fails to break the high several times, and it comes down and opens up and just really accelerates the move to the downside there. So just interesting things like that tend to happen. Now, obviously, we talked a little bit about the gaps and the gap closure and things like that, so I think that's also really nice to consider as well. So here's like the gap there and there. You can kind of feel where the gap closure was, maybe a little bit. Oh, actually, the market ends at this point here, so yeah, it's right in there, you know, depending on how that thing closes, but I think it's like right in there. So you can kind of see a retest of 7 o'clock time retested the close of yesterday, and then we went through it again. Okay, got a little retracement there. This big candle, this wiki candle represents buying to me. So you can see that there was some people standing on the yesterday's close looking for the gap closure, gap fill, all that good stuff, and push to the upside. And it was actually at the top of the hour, which is interesting. News time, but still kind of hold the downtrend, you know. So anyway, just thought that was kind of interesting. Let's go back to my little checklist here. I was talking about time of day. Talked about time of day a little bit about that first range. Time of day seems to work really well on the ES for some reason, as well as several of the indexes. You tend to get retests and new lows right around the tops and the bottoms of the hour. I think that's real. All that really counts to is institutional buying and selling. So that's why AppAtime is the way that it is. I just want to keep track of when turns happen right at the top or the bottom of the day. You know, like stuff like that. And the first 15 minutes, for whatever reason, the first 15 minutes also work there. So yeah. There's that, and it doesn't really look like we got much of a retracement on that one, but you know, it is what it is there. So I just thought that was really interesting. And then obviously the price action school, and learning to read the bars is really a science in and of itself. I would say that I'm still a student of it, you know. I don't know that anybody truly ever masters it. I mean, we can get really good at doing it, but to truly master it is, I don't know if it's even achievable, to be real honest with you. But I do like to use some different things to help me with my entries. Being the programmer that I am, I'm able to program a lot of this stuff out here. So let me just show you the APA candlesticks, or I'm sorry, the APA signal candles. This is the unfiltered price action entries of the day, if you will. And this is the way that I interpret the bars. So I'm looking for engulfing patterns and things of that nature to give us the entries, you know. And when I say engulfing patterns, I mean usually the low of a green bar needs to be exceeded. So you can kind of see the short play that lined up there, or the long play that lined up there. We just had another long play come out. This one's a little bit hard for me to to want to take that, just because we're coming back into resistance here. So I don't really like that one so much. But short plays like this at the basically at the tops and the bottoms of the hour kind of held out pretty cool and been something interesting there. You'll also notice that I put in this little dot pattern here. And all that dot means is there's a little bit of a momentum push. So this candle is like 2 times bigger than this candle. That's all that it means. A little green dot there, a little red dot there. It just means that it's 2 times. It just confirms that these candles and the little dot prints 1 bar after, whereas the actual like little line there prints as soon as this low is succeeded, you know. And so, but this little dot really says like, hey, there's some negative momentum, or I shouldn't say negative, downwards momentum on that candle. So, but it only plots the dot after this whole bar is completed. So, if you were to take like a short off of this like engulfing bar, or what I consider an engulfing bar, like after the fact, it gives you a little confirmation that, hey, this signal had momentum to it, and we'll see if this thing can't really go down, you know. So that's kind of what I look for, and you know, in Epizones 4, all these signals are filtered with the zone, so you don't get as many of these signals here. And this is the signal part, I guess you could say, of Epizones 4. So when we get that engulfing pattern, that price action engulf, and this can be a double bar engulf, or it can be a single bar engulf. All right. So green candle up, and as soon as this low is pushed, then you get like a signal. You know, as soon as this low is beaten, you get a signal at the open. All right. And a lot of times you do get retested on the entries of these, so it's just the way that it works. But again, you know, we're just looking for price action to help us out there. And I love to see big candles or big wicks on candles a lot of times when you're at the high or at the low, because that big candle can give you some reversal strength. I don't see it much here on the ES, but ES is a whole nother beast than a lot of these other markets. But a lot of times you will get big candle wicks on these things like this. This big candle wick represents selling pressure, and it goes down a little bit, all right? But comes back up, retests our Globex high. Not a whole lot of wickage on that, but there's a little bit there. So had some wickage going on down here, and then again you can see all the wicks on these candles and kind of how they're all 3 of them together. And the wick again means buying pressure. A lot of times this type of candle here on like NQ will form really fast, like it'll go and then come right back up, and it's almost like the momentum of that real quick cell pressure and then right back up again, it feels like it's the professionals reloading real quick and then taking it off in the other direction. So it really does feel like it. And guys, just so you notice, like my zones may look a little bit different than your zones, and that's because I'm trying out some new software here. So we have a new little option that just shows us the current zones. Again, it's a 1 minute time frame, so this is support, this is resistance. Obviously, it's held a couple times, but it's nothing more complicated than that. And we do have a 60-minute level just underneath us there, so just came one tick within that zone, so that's another little confirmation. But because it came one tick from the zone, personally speaking, I like to make sure that this isn't going to double pump, because it could pull one tick outside of the zone, and at the time, you really want to make sure that this is the low before getting long again. So red bar down, failing to break the low, green inside green bar, good size wick on it, doji with a good size wick on the downside. Technically, this doji has a really cool name to it. It's called a butterfly or dragonfly doji, which I guess you're supposed to draw the wings as such. Let me see if I can demonstrate my superb drawing abilities today. So it's supposed to be 4 wings on this thing. And anyway, yeah. So just a lot of wickage coming down there, failing to break the low, and price action entry to the long side. But that's kind of all that I have to share today about giving us context. Obviously, I love taking 60-minute zones as real good support resistance, or real good supply demand, and will hold the most support and resistance inside of them. But they can also break too. Like here on the 15-minute, we had a couple good bounces off this zone. There's one, there's two, and it breaks, and then retests to the previous dead 60-minute zone, and let's see if the low holds again, off the bigger time frame. So again, this is kind of how I determine context and whatnot. So I hope it's helpful. But now I'd like to go ahead and open it up to everybody. So I'm going to go ahead and unmute everybody.
That makes a lot of sense, and I like to hear that. I just have to go with it. And it was so simple for him to say, and it was very simple for me to understand.
Oh, I think Neil is having another conversation there. But yeah, so that's how I look at context, and hopefully that makes some sense there. Neil, if you want me to unmute you, just comment in the questions tab, and I'll go ahead and unmute you. But everybody else is unmuted now. If you guys have any thoughts or questions about this type of thing, then please let me know. I want it to be kind of an open share time, as it's obviously determining context is a real nice idea, but we're really looking for practical application of such. All right. Well, I don't see any comments or hear anything. I know Neil was having a great conversation there with somebody, it sounded like. But does anybody else have any thoughts on establishing context? I'm going to talk about one more thing that I see quite often, and maybe this will help somebody, maybe it won't. But just kind of like this, what we're seeing here in these past couple bars on the Nasdaq. You know, like we see this zone flip-flopping right now. Obviously, it's like the highs, or if we go down on the 1 minute, we can see it look really, really pretty, you know. But I feel like this is really the high of the zone, you know, and it's retested that, and now it's coming down off of it, you know. So something kind of cool if I were to go apply my little signal thing. I know that that there would be a little short signal happening right here. And obviously it's really easy to see in hindsight, but you know, getting an indicator that gives it to you in real time, kind of like what it's doing right now, giving us a shorting opportunity here. Well, it actually formed on this most recent bar here as it just closed below the low of this green candle, and we're at 930, so retest of the high, failure to break the high on this green candle, price action entry to the short side, looking at support and resistance, and again trying to get context. We have made a new high here, so you need to be aware of that. For sure, you've exceeded this high over here on the right hand side, right? But at the same time, if we look at where this thing is drawn, and I happen to know that there's a 150 tick zone right here, okay, somewhere in this range. I know that that did not exceed the high of the zone there, okay. So taking this is really almost like taking the confirmation of a retest to fail to break a new high, and we want to take it down there, maybe in a quick, like, little one-to-one scalp or something. I'm looking at this area of consolidation over here on the right, and then I want to play the range, and I feel like the range is going to take me down here, and then I want to make it look good, so I'd be looking for another zone of opposite type to take this down to, you know, wherever that may be. But that's, I try to keep it really simple, you know. Obviously you're not going to get every single one of them, but it's, you got to keep it simple. So that's kind of how I see things going on here, and we'll see what happens. But right now I feel like it's retesting this area of consolidation. You see that red bar, inside bar, green bar. So I know that there's going to be a little bit of support possibly kicking in right there. And I'm hoping that it'll break and really retest this low area. And technically, I mean, you could take this target. I'm pulling it off like right where that open of this red candle is. You know, kind of like where the first retest, the first red candle retest of this low. Because there's going to be some people looking at that, I think. But you know, you could take it all the way down to like where that green line is, because there's a lot of there's a close there, there's a low there, there's another low there. Like there's something at where that green line is too. So that gives you a little bit more. But you know, we don't want to be greedy. We want to play the range. So scalp, play the range, and then make it look good. So that's my ideas on that. So if anybody has any thoughts, please feel free to speak up. Everybody should be unmuted right now, and should be good to go here. Neil, if you want me to unmute you, just say something in the chat or in the questions box. I have both of them opened, but that's really all that I wanted to cover today, was just the idea of getting context. And next week we'll cover some stuff about where is that sticky note at? Ah, here it is. Next week we will be covering things on methodologies of pullbacks. Okay. And here's kind of the outline that I have going on into next Thursday's presentation here. Next Thursday we're going to be looking at pullbacks and how to identify those really well, counter trend, and discussing the trend, because when are you really counter trending, or when are you doing a counter trend trade, and when are you doing a trend follow trade? It's a very, well, I'm sure many of you guys know this, but it's a very subjective thing, Are you doing a counter trend off of a short time frame, or are you doing a trend follow trade off of a very large time frame, or vice versa, So it's kind of subjective there. And then we're going to be looking at zone creation methodologies, trendline breaks methodologies. And when we look at these type of trades, it's all going to be price action based. Like I'm just going to use my stuff for sure, but I'm also going to try to pull in some other traders just to get their perspectives, because when we actually talk about our entry signals and stuff like that, I've seen so many different traders that use zones come out with different entry methodologies and stuff that it's, ask 5 traders what they use for an entry and you get 5 different answers kind of thing, So, but I really want to hopefully, when we talk about these different methodologies, I want to involve some other traders and discuss what they do. So I'll be having some people that I know making money come in here and talk a little bit about those things, So we may even also have some older pit traders come in, and traders that I know have been trading for 20 years plus come in and give their experience, because I think that's very, very valuable, as they've sat through all kinds of market conditions compared to my relatively few years of experience. It's nowhere close to 20 years, but I'm learning every day and just looking for the obvious in these candles. So I hope that helps everybody. If anybody would like to say anything, you're more than welcome to. And we will we'll just see how this whole day methodology thing kind of progresses here as we continue on in the ideas of talking about different methodologies. So I will probably be showing you more of this the Apazone 4 software, and as it's progressing over the next few weeks. Putting a lot of time into that, as well as doing some upgrades and stuff to current existing software. Kind of like with what you're seeing on my chart right now. The zones extend all the way to the right, and it only shows you the most current zones. I'd like to release this as soon as possible, but I'm having some loading things actually happen here. So we'll see how that happens, or see how that goes, I should say. Yeah, so just want to make that aware for everybody that we'll probably be releasing like an Apazones 3.5 that gives you that option. And it seems like I did something else. Oh, the zone should also be a whole lot faster to load. check this out. So like, let's do ES on a 5-minute chart. Okay, so here's our ES 5-minute chart, and we're going to do something insane. We're going to load 60 days, okay, of data on a 5-minute, and with the new Apizone software, as long as you don't have show last zone only checked, you hit OK, and the thing should be really fast to load. And that just loaded up 60 days of data on our 5-minute chart, you know. And then we can go ahead and check that little deal right there, and you can kind of see how price action has responded to these different 5-minute levels here. All right. So that's pretty cool. And I recommend when you load up, if this thing does stay around and I do release it in its current form, and if you guys want to test this stuff for me, I have a few testers testing this out for me, but if you guys want to volunteer to test this thing out, you're more than welcome to. It's only for the NinjaTrader site right now. I'm working on a TradeStation version too. So that should be kind of cool. But anyway, the show current zones only, I think it's nice just because it really lends to very, very clean charts, if you will. And I like really, really clean charts. It just makes me feel good because it keeps trading relatively simple, you know. So that's pretty much it as far as that stuff goes. And let's see, what else was I going to share with you? I'm actually really pleased with how fast this thing loads. Like that was really fast considering I just loaded in 60 days. Let's do 90 days and see how long it takes to load. This may tax my data on my computer right now, but we'll see. Dang, that was still pretty fast. I mean, I do have a pretty quick machine, but that was still pretty quick. Let's do 180 days. Oh, that's a lot of days on a 5-minute time frame. Let's do 120 days. Took a little bit, you know, but yeah, it's changed the strength. It's still pretty fast. So you can see a lot of zones that way, going way down to 1620, in fact. So it's a lot of price zones to get through and whatnot. But yeah, of course the market's never been this high before, which, you know, only one supply zone up there, lowly by itself. And it was showing the current zones only, man. It just makes it look very, very clean, you know. I like that a lot. So anyway, hopefully today's been helpful, and if you guys have any thoughts, please let me know, and we will talk to you later. By the way, Neil, I do want to talk to you today if you could, and if you guys want to beta test this thing out for me, please let me know.